Hello nice humans. I am here with a pen pal with me video today, and I just thought it would be fun to share the process in a bit of detail. So this is quite a long video and you can see all the different things that I'm doing to put this letter together. So hopefully that's fun for you. Yes, consider yourself forewarned. I think it's more than half an hour long, but yeah, hopefully that's fun. So I'm starting with these little pieces of blue lined paper. They're quite small. And the other thing that I'm starting with is this really lovely washi tape. This is one of those ones that has paper on the back. So it's really easy to fussy cut the pieces on this one. And I actually went through and fussy cut quite a few of them, of the flowers and the different kind of shapes and things on there. I thought I would make this letter Lily of the Valley themed because I had just got this lovely washi tape in the post and I thought, well, this is a great opportunity to really enjoy using it and also to share it with my new friend, because this is the first letter that I'm sending to this particular pen pal. So I don't know heaps about her yet as a person in terms of the motifs and colors and ideas and themes and stuff that she likes. So I thought something floral and pretty would be a reasonably safe option. At least it's somewhere that I feel reasonably comfortable working. I love florals. So yeah. So as you can see, I've cut a bunch of them out. That's not all that I cut out, but you can sort of see a few of them there at the front. And I'm just going through this little box that I have. And this is one where I put really small little bits of paper that I know will be good for layering with. I use this when I'm working in my traveler's notebook. I use it for things like this, for little collaged bits on letters. I often have cute little bits of paper that I've just torn off something because I like the color or the texture or the pattern on it. And this little box is where they go. It's actually a box that I have quite a fond feeling for because I got it in Japan and it was full of snacks. I bought it when we were hopping onto the Shinkansen to go from Tokyo to Kyoto, I think. And we were very excited to buy various snacks to have with us on the train. And this one, I literally bought it because the cover was cute. I didn't know what was inside, but it had those cute little squirrels on it. And I was like, well, I mean, even if I don't like what's inside, even if it's not something that I enjoy the taste or the texture or whatever of, I will still have this cute box. And what was inside was delicious. It was a really yummy kind of desserty, biscuity thing. And then I got this box. And so, yeah, I like that I can use it for something that I use kind of every day. I get to interact with this pretty thing that reminds me of a lovely adventure that we had. And it just makes me happy. So you can see where I'm about to actually write my letter, I'm sort of preparing the pages basically. So I made quite a few pages with just layers of washi, little bits of torn paper. I chose things that had lines on them or grids and things. And then I'm layering some of these Lily of the Valley fussy cut sort of washi pieces over the top of them. So I'm preparing a few of these pages in advance so that then when I am ready to write my letter, I can just do that on these pages that I've prepared. I did, full disclosure, end up needing quite a few more than I thought I would. So I prepared several and then I ended up needing to make some more. So I'll show you some at least, and you can get a feel for how the thing looked. So they're all different from each other. And that's part of the fun of doing these. I love letter sets, don't get me wrong, but I like making them like this as well because you can make each one unique and then they all kind of blend in together and they look like they belong together, but none of them are the same. And that's really fun. I'm also using some rub-ons here, which are one of my favorite things to use. And these ones by MU that have, what are they? They're kind of like watercolor or ink sort of splodges and patterns and stuff. They just look like they've been blobbed on the page, but they've got lovely kind of color variation and stuff in them. They're one of my favorites. I think I've bought 6 packs of them and I just keep using them up because they're so pretty. So this is just me using them again. I'm sure you will have seen me use them before and you will definitely see me use them again in the future. I just really love them. They're just a really nice way of adding a little bit of soft color and an extra layer in a little corner like this, it's just a little extra bit. There are also some here that have got little circles. They're from a different set, but they kind of have a similar effect. And I like the way that they are not fully opaque. Like, they add color and sort of a bit of variation in what's going on with the shapes and things, but you can still see the layers that are happening underneath, and I really like that effect most of the time. Obviously there are some situations where you don't want to see what's happening underneath, like you're putting something over the top specifically to cover something up, or because you want, a bit more of a heavy color. But I usually really like it when you can see those layers. I think it adds a real nice kind of depth and softness. So yeah, I'm trying to vary up where on the page I am putting the embellishments. Some of them are going on the left, some are going on the right, some are going top, bottom. I'm just mixing it up just to keep it a bit dynamic. But there's not a real rhyme or reason. I'm actually sort of letting the shape of the washi piece, so that floral piece, kind of dictate where that little cluster of collage is going. I'm sure I've mentioned before that little tool that you saw me use I'm pretty sure it is also by MU, and it's specifically for using with these rub-ons, and I really love them. Or love it. I've only got the one. You don't need more than one. But I've got it here. I'm just looking at it, holding it in my hands. It's got like a smooth end, and then a sort of more of a sharp angled end, and you can use them to really get those rub-ons onto the page. I'm always worried that I'm going to not rub them on hard enough, and then when I try and lift it, it'll lift off, and this helps me feel quite sure that it's not going anywhere. And also one of the ends has got a slight curve to it, so you can kind of use it to lift the plastic backing off when you're done, so that also helps as well. So you can see here that I am just putting together a kind of a little accordion book situation, and I'm using just some cardstock and envelopes to put that together, and you'll see how I use that as I go along. That's going to hold all the different bits that are going in this letter. And I'm also making a crossword. This is, like I said, this is the first letter that I'm sending to this particular pen pal, and I find that sometimes I feel a little bit awkward just kind of listing all the things that I like while I'm introducing myself to a person, or going, hi, I'm Essie, I like to read and I like cake and blah blah blah. And that's totally fine thing to do, but I was just sort of feeling a little bit like I wanted to try something a little bit different. So I decided that I would instead make a crossword, and that clues would be the answers to some of my favorite things, like I think like my favorite fruits and my favorite books and things I like to do. I actually can't remember what I wrote in the end, but the point was that it was kind of like a more fun way of making it for me, and hopefully like a slightly more interactive and enjoyable thing for the person receiving it, to like actually have like a fun little activity to do. Just, maybe it's obnoxious, I don't know, but it just seemed like a good idea at the time. So yeah, I made a crossword. And this is me putting the clues down. I decided to write the across and the down in a like a brush pen, and then I just did the clues in tiny writing with one of my Sakura Pigma micron pens, so they'd be nice and clear. I wanted to make sure they all fit on one page, so I wrote quite small. And then I created a little pocket here. It's less of a pocket and more of like a tuck spot. And I used just a bit of a glassine envelope and then a bit of brown paper just for an extra layer. And I wanted to be able to just tuck the clues in so that my pen pal can just pull them out, and she doesn't have to like flip between pages or something to look at the clues and then look at the puzzle. I wanted to make it as easy as possible to actually just do it. So you'll see in a minute that the puzzle gets placed on this page, and then the clues kind of just get tucked in. And yeah, so I'm just sort of decorating that a little bit now, again with the rub-ons. These little spots are so cute, they're like confetti. And I think because they have that transparent quality that I was talking about, it sort of makes them seem a little bit like tissue paper, maybe, which I think is super cute. Because, lots of confetti is made of tissue paper, and that's nice. So yeah, I'm putting some washi on here and some more washi stickers, and so I'm repeating a lot of the elements that I used in the actual letter throughout these other parts. I'm I am definitely somebody who really likes to put extra bits and pieces in with a pen pal letter. It's not necessarily something that I expect in return. Like, I don't ever want my pen pals to feel like they have to do this. The point is the letter, obviously. But I just really like putting together fun coordinating bits and pieces in with it. I enjoy the process of making it. I have a lot of stuff. I'm really lucky in terms of, like, I have heaps of paper and pretty bits and pieces, and I'm also really good at collecting it. So I want to be able to share what I have. Like, I've got plenty and it's nice to share it. So yeah, this is why we have like this little fold out thing. So this is like a tiny little note that I'm putting with the crossword, and it just says open when you've completed the crossword, and then it sort of explains that all of the answers are some of my favorite things. So if there was any confusion there about like what the point of it was, it actually kind of makes that a bit explicit. So hopefully that's helpful. And yeah, so I'm just doing that on this tiny little bit, and of course I have to decorate that too. So again, a little bit of washi, a little bit of torn vintage paper, and a washi sticker, and it looks cute. And I have that cute little glassine envelope that it can just get tucked into, so it feels like you're getting like a little, I don't know, prize, but like you're kind of earning the opening of the secret letter at the end. Again, it sounds way fancier or more exciting than it actually is, but you know, again, it's just a cute thing. I put a little paper clip on the clues, just so that they stay in that little pocket. I don't think they're going to fall out, but it doesn't hurt. And a little golden paper clip adds a nice little bit of visual variation as well, which is fun. These are two little envelopes that I made using an envelope template that I have. It's really great. It's very flat. It's sort of a bit like, it's the same thickness as maybe a pencil board would be that you might use in a journal, but it's got little sections cut out so you can trace the shape of a small coin envelope like this on any bit of paper, and then just cut it out and use it to make a envelope. And I use it all the time, and especially for things like this, for pen pal letters, but also just in my journals and stuff when I have something I want to tuck in. It's really, really, really handy. And I'm just putting these guys in here and decorating them because I have some other bits and pieces that I want to include. So I'm giving them somewhere to sit. So one of the things is going to be a little collection of these washi, fussy cut washi pieces. So they're getting popped in there. And I'm just putting as many in as will fit. And I'm not going to make you watch me wrangle this for however long it took. But there were heaps. This is a beautiful washi roll. It's got heaps and heaps and heaps of different variations on it. So there's lots of like tiny little ones, and then really big ones, and then all kinds of things in between. And I wanted my pen pal to have heaps to play with. So I've just put those in there after cutting them out, and then I'm just going to seal it with a little bit of just plain blue washi, and then I'm going to stick it on here in a second in a way that means you can take it off nice and easily. Before I stick it down, I'm going to get the other one ready as well. So I'm just going to put one of these pretty little post-it notes on, which will create a nice background to add a little bit of extra embellishment on top of. That paper underneath is really beautiful, but because it's got so much detail on it, if I were to put a washi sticker on it, the sticker would get lost. So I'm just giving it a little like background mount to sit on so that it can still be seen. And I'm just kind of layering a few bits and pieces there to create that little cluster. I could do this kind of stuff all day. It's just so fun. So yeah, I'm just going to keep pottering with that. It's also fun sometimes if you're going to use washi to like fold it over the side, just to make it feel like it's kind of interacting with the edge of the piece that you're decorating. That can be a fun thing to do, which is what I did there. Yeah, I'm just going to stick those guys on there, and I'm just writing on the front what is inside, just so that my pen pal can know in advance. So in this top one, I'm putting some other washi stickers. These ones are just little rectangular pieces, and they're all kind of coloured to tone in with the letter itself. So I really like these little rectangles. They're fun to put into journals and to layer up, and they're just like a kind of like a different kind of sticker, I guess, and I just like playing with them, and they're a nice thing to be able to share. So you can see here I've just put a couple of loops of washi tape on the back, which will be strong enough to hold them in place, those little envelopes, but will be easy to pull off when she wants to open them up. So what I'm showing you here is something that I really like to make for people who I know enjoy papercraft, whether that's journaling or art journaling or writing letters or anything. And it's kind of like a little scrap sampler. So what I'll do is I'll cut down various pretty pieces of scrap paper that I have, little offcuts and things, and I'll put them together into this like little pad. And basically it just means that you've got this sort of selection that you can pull from when you want just a little layer to add to something, and it just helps diversify your collection of bits and pieces. Sometimes we'll buy a vintage book and we'll have it forever before we use up all the bits, and you feel like you're just using the same type of print the whole time, and you get a bit sick of it. So when you've got something like this, you can kind of have other little scraps to add in with it just to kind of mix it up a little bit. And I have found them to be really useful. Sometimes I'll just make them for myself so that I've got them there to choose from when I want to, but I find it's a really nice way of sharing pretty little papers with people who I know enjoy that process. So I've sent one of those, again, one that kind of tones in with the letter itself, to my pen pal, and hopefully she'll enjoy that. And what I'm doing here is I'm just sticking some things on the outside of this envelope, and the envelope is what I will tuck that little pad into. I have in the past made them much chunkier, much fatter, and I do like to do that, but I don't want this letter to get too fat because it's going to Canada. Well, it's arrived now. I didn't want to post this video until obviously my pen pal had received the letter, just in case she saw it and it was spoilers. But yeah, I needed it to be a certain thickness, otherwise I couldn't get it into the envelope and sent off. So yeah, you can make them as fat or as skinny as you want to. Yeah, there's, you can just do what you like. So this is another little section of the letter that I'm just embellishing here. I am layering in a doily, which I always love. The green there on the background is dark enough that putting that white over the top creates a really nice contrast, which I really like. I'm using another one of those little post-it notes that looks like a paint chip, like a Pantone paint chip. And that's a look that I really love. I know it's quite popular at the moment, so it probably makes me basic for liking it, but I love color. Generally, I love collecting colors. I like colors matching. I love playing with them. So yeah, these things, I'm a sucker for that kind of thing. So yeah, I was always going to go along with that trend. But yeah, I'm just going to layer that up with some vintage paper, which actually, now that I think about it, I think my doily ends up going on top of that, but I think we still get the contrast because the vintage paper is quite yellowed, like in a nice way, and the doily is quite a bright white. So yeah, that's different again. And so what I'm including here are some questions for my pen pal. So I'm just brush lettering a title thing that says questions, and I'm just including a couple of things that I would like to know, and hopefully she will be able to answer those questions by return post. And again, because we're new pen pals, they're reasonably general, but I didn't want to just ask things that she might have answered anyway. So I just tried to ask things that were kind of quite general, but also that she might not have thought to answer in her letter. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. So yeah, that's gone in there. And now I'm creating another little piece that I'm putting a sort of half label on, and then also a little bit of green. This is like reproduction wallpaper. I bought it in a pack, so it's not like actually vintage, but it's got a vintage pattern on it, just to embellish this little piece. And on it, I'm going to create a little thing that she can actually fill in and send back to me by return post. So it's another sort of interactive element that might be fun for including in return mail, because it's tricky with pen paling. You do want to kind of create a bit of a dialogue, right? So it's fun to report the stuff that's happening to you and that you're thinking about, and what's going on in your life. And I love reading that too, because it gives you an insight into what your pen pal's life is like and who they are as a person, which is one of the major reasons you're pen paling in the first place, right? But you sort of want to also feel like there's a bit of a conversation going on and getting to know that person, and their sort of their tastes and interests and things like that too. So if you can give some prompts, I guess is what I'm trying to say, that can sort of help the process. I sometimes feel a bit stuck for things to write. So if I've got some questions to answer, then it helps me get started. And then once I get started, it's usually hard to stop me. So yeah, that was a rambly way of saying I've included a little this or that piece here. And again, hopefully this is like a little prompt that's helpful for writing a reply. And I'm creating a little pocket for it to sit in. And they're really simple things like either or type questions that are just like really easy to answer. So hopefully that will help put my pen pal at ease when she's replying, and immediately give her something to start with to send back, so she can like circle the ones that she's choosing and then just stick this in the envelope, so you feel like you've made a start. So yeah, that was a very, very rambly description. I'm sorry, guys. So now I'm decorating the envelope that's on the other end of this little accordion thinger, and this envelope has the letter inside. So again, I'm putting a little tag on it which sort of mirrors what was happening on the other one, and I'm layering that again, this time with some pretty paper from a book that I had of craft papers, and again with some more vintage paper from my my collection of just little scraps and bits and pieces. And I'm just going to write on this little tag here to say, hello, this is where the letter is. So that's going to be stuck on the outside. I really love this grey pen. I can't remember the brand, but I have a bunch of black brush pens and a bunch of sort of bright colours and things, but sometimes it's nice to have something that isn't coloured but also isn't as harsh as black. And I find this grey is just right, like it's not too light so that it looks washed out, but it's not so dark that it feels stark. It's just it's the sweet spot. I have to try and remember what it's actually called. I can't see it like from where I'm sitting at the moment. Never mind, it's great. Maybe I'll remember next time. Oh boy. So what we have here is the good old-fashioned washi sampler. I feel like it's not really a pen pal letter from me if I haven't included some washi. I am a washi hoarder. I'm like a dragon sitting on a washi hoard. I just love the stuff, and you know, you can collect it endlessly, and using and sharing it definitely helps justify that. So I'm putting a bunch of washis on this little card here, which again, I'm hoping will tone in with the letter as a whole. I'm using some of the washis that I've used in the creation of the letter, but I'm also adding some other ones that complement them. They're all from different places. I love this one that's got the little stamp ones on it. Again, I know that's like quite a popular trend in washi at the moment. I know it's not like super original, but the illustrations on this one are so pretty. The little pansy on there, and like there's just cute flowers, and it's lovely and soft, and it sort of tones in, I think, thematically with the with what's the word I'm looking for? The lilies of the valley. So now I'm creating a pocket for that to tuck into, and I'm sort of using both double-sided tape and glue to get all the bits and pieces stuck on this, because I'm creating some layers with cardstock and like glassine paper. It's like this was a large glassine bag, I think, that I ended up cutting up to be used in this way. So that's going to get tucked in there. I love a washi sampler. I love receiving them as much as I enjoy making them, because it's nice to have little bits that you can sort of use and use up. And I also find that they're really fantastic to tuck into the front of your traveler's notebook, or just have in a pocket of your pencil case or something, when you wouldn't normally be able to fit like heaps of rolls of actual washi tape. So they're really, like, what I'm saying is they're very portable, I think is what I'm trying to say. And I find that really fun, because I often like to journal like out in the living room. I'm not always at my desk with my whole washi collection. So yeah. You saw me stick that pocket on. I put the washi down first and then stuck the pocket over the top of it and then trimmed the edges. And that's because the washi sampler is actually like reasonably dimensional, right? So if I had made the pocket flat, when I had stuck the washi into it, it would have bent it quite a lot out of shape, and it would have been tricky to kind of squeeze it in there. But if you kind of shape the if you shape the pocket around the washi, it will fit snugly and perfectly. So that's my little tip there. That's a handy thing to be able to do. And I'm just putting some more decorative layers on the outside of this just to make it pretty and fun and not boring. And I have all these little bits of off-cut cardstock here from other parts of this letter already, so it's easy just to grab those and use them to continue on with the other parts of the letter. So that's working well. Adding some more layers on, so you can see I'm pretty much getting there with this now. We're sort of getting to the finishing stages, I guess. So that's all decorated, and now I want to decorate the outside, I guess. So this is the letter's folded up now, so this is the front of one of the envelopes, and the rest of the letter is tucked in behind it. I'm not sure if you can really get a sense of that from looking at it from this angle, but I want this to be the thing that she sees when she opens up the package. So I'm including I'm creating some layers basically, and again using similar items that are used on the inside, so it all feels nice and cohesive. And it has to have a lily of the valley on the front, obviously, because that has to that's the theme. And now I'm tucking in some of these rub-ons again on the outside. I've unfolded the letter now because when you're doing the rub-on, you need to be able to apply a fair bit of pressure, and that wasn't going to work if the whole bulky letter was tucked in behind. So I've just unfolded it to make sure that they go in the right spot. I'm just carefully peeling the backing off, and they're tucked in nicely. And you can do this with paint, obviously, but this particular paper that I have, it's quite absorbent. Like, it's not designed to hold paint particularly well. So for these big blobs, I've used the rub-ons, but now I'm getting out some of my just some watercolor paint, and I'm using that to create some little droplets, because it's fine for that, and it will absorb again quite a bit of that moisture and actually the pigment itself quite quickly. But yeah, it's fine for those little splatters, but for the bigger parts, I don't think that would have worked as well on the kind of paper that that envelope is. So now I've just unfolded the letter, and I'm just adding those little splatters and droplets throughout, just to kind of finish off the little decorative clusters here and there. I always like that look, and I will probably add them pretty much to anything I do. I just really like that kind of messy, painterly kind of vibe, so that gets added on most of the time. And now I'm actually writing my letter. So I did that, but obviously I'm not going to show you the letter because it's for my pen pal, but I just showed you how I was lettering her name on there. And now I'm just going to seal the whole thing up with some wax. So I love sealing wax. It's so fun. I always get Puff the Magic Dragon in my head when I use it, because Puff loved sealing wax. And so it just comes into my head. But yeah, I'm just melting it here. Obviously I've sped this up like a lot, but I'm melting in some lovely sage green and this kind of pearly white color, and they will blend really nicely and make some nice swirls. I don't want to put it straight onto the letter, so I have this little silicone mat that I am putting it on, and I'm just pouring the wax out. I know it looks like I'm doing it backwards, but it's because these things are made for right-handed people. If you hold it in your right hand, it pours out of the little notch in the thing, but if you're left-handed, it's backwards. So yeah, it's not me, it's left-handedism or something. So yeah, I've got this lovely seal that has my initial on it, the letter E, and I did it in green and white, obviously, because that matches the Lily of the Valley theme. And I'm just going to put that on the front here. And when I do it on the silicone mat, I get the control of being able to make sure I get it looking exactly right. And I also don't have to worry about the surface not being fully flat. Like this letter is on a bit of a tilt because of the way it's folded, and so it wouldn't have poured neatly. So yeah, it was just easier to make sure that I got it looking the way I wanted it to by doing it separately and then sticking it on. This is, again, a piece of that kind of glassine paper that I'm using to wrap around the letter to make sure it stays closed. So it's a little bit like a belly band, basically, and it's just holding the thing shut. So, and again, it just adds a little bit of texture without it being too bold or taking away from the delicate kind of designs that are on the front. And then I'm tying it again with some twine, some natural kind of jute twine. And I really like that layered look. I think it's really pretty, and I think it tones in well. And now I'm just getting my glue gun and I'm using that hot glue to actually stick the seal on. And that works well for two reasons. One, it kind of gets into all the bits around the raised twine, so it's going to actually give it like a surface to actually sit on and adhere to. And also, because it's hot, it sort of slightly melts the wax on the back a little bit and makes sure it stays really nice and stuck, because the wax kind of connects really well to the hot glue. And that's the finished letter. I hope you enjoyed this video, this very, very long video. I really enjoyed the process of making this one. It took me like a few days of just sort of pottering on and off, coming in and doing a bit, and then stopping and then doing a bit more. And I don't know, it was really nice, and I hope my pen pal really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to sort of starting that exchange with her. If you would like a pen pal, maybe get in touch. I have my address on my Instagram in my stories, as like up at the top. If you click on snail mail, the first story there that's saved has got my address on it. So if you want to send me a letter, I will hopefully be able to reply, and that would be really nice. Otherwise, I will see you again on here really soon.